Mid-major minute starts with McNeese back at the big dance after winning the Southland Conference tournament title. Cowboys go back-to-back with head coach Will Wade, who happens to be a Clemson alum. Ooh. And it just so happens that when we get to the first round of the Midwest region, that's the matchup 12-5 that we're going to get, right?
Gotta love it.
I mean, local storylines and reporters certainly excited about that. Then there's this, the Oricon basketball manager for the team. If they keep manager stats for rebounding and wiping up wet shots on the court, I'd put up Wilt Chamberlain like numbers. He is a vibe. Between that and like Omaha, the Mavericks, their trash can stuff,
so
these are the great things that we get to learn this time of year.
Nothing better. Can't wait to see what comes out of this next program. Again, Grand Canyon could be another Cinderella story. They took down top-seeded Utah Valley Saturday night for a third straight WAC tournament title. Number 13 seed facing a number 4 seed Maryland on Friday in the first round. Last year, they won their first ever March Madness game, setting up a number 5 seed St. Mary's as a 12 seed in the West region before falling to Alabama. It was a tough path for them last year in that second round game that wasn't decided till the final minute, but they are looking good this season, and you just don't know who's going to pop up as the next Cinderella story. So could it be, I don't know, think about years past. Oakland, Fairleigh Dickinson, the St. Peter's. Who is it going to be this year? We got a potential strong group over here. Most of the top one bid league teams winning their conference tournaments to punch in their tickets to the big dance. Adam Finkelstein joining us now to look at some of the top Cinderella candidates. We're going to count down the top 5. So everyone get your bracket out, get ready to circle some good little Cinderella stories here. We're going to start with the Drake Bulldogs in the West region. So nation's first team to 30 wins. Ben McCollum's first season as the head coach. How could you see Drake beating Missouri in the first round?
Well, this is very NCAA committee-like, right? They put Ben McCollum against Missouri in the state where he was a D2 head coach for the last 15 years, and he won 4 D2 national championships in that state, including 3 in a row. 2019, 2020 was canceled because of COVID, then 21, 22. So Ben McCollum was just an institution at the Division II level. He brought 4 of his players with him this year to Drake, and he has created, as you said, the first 30-win team in college basketball. They get it done in both ends of the floor. They are an outstanding execution team, and this is a Mizzou squad that likes to play in waves. They'll play 8, 9, sometimes 10 deep. Drake is going to slow the game down. They are going to make it a possession-by-possession contest that will neutralize Missouri's depth and not allow them to play in the waves that they would like. So I think Drake has got a really good chance to win this team. Now, I will say that Drake has slipped a little bit in these Cinderella rankings for me because I am not as enthusiastic about their second round matchup where they would go up against Texas Tech. I do not think they match up as well. So if you would ask me 3 days ago, I would have said Drake could have been a potential Sweet 16 team. Now I like them in the round of 32, the Sweet 16. There is a pathway, but it's less probable because of that matchup.
At number 4, we're going to talk about New Mexico, the Lobos. Everyone out there needs to remember this name, Donovan Dent. It's a great name. The Lobos point guard. He's one of the most dynamic players in the sport. Talk to me about New Mexico.
Well, first of all, it's going to be Donovan Dent versus Cam Jones, 2 of the best guards in college basketball. But, Jenny, the key here is, like I said, the NCAA committee loves to have these cinematic little subplots. So what do? They schedule Rick Pitino's son, Richard Pitino, against Shaka Smart and Marquette in the Big East. Now, if I'm Shaka Smart, I am not happy about this because this is a competitive disadvantage. You cannot tell me that New Mexico will not have all of Marquette's play calls and everything that St. John's was able to accumulate from a scouting standpoint throughout the course of the season. That gives New Mexico a distinct advantage in this one. And make no mistake about it, they were plenty capable of getting it done on their own. We're talking about a top 20 defense in the country. And as you said, one of the very best guards. This is a team under Richard Pitino that is playing tremendous basketball. And you add that little subplot, some play calls, it will not hurt their chances. But similar to them, I think there's a second round reality check in the mix with Michigan State waiting.
Yeah, that's a tough reality check right there. All right, we're going to go back to the West at number 3. Looking at Colorado State now, there's probably not a hotter team in the field than the Rams. They rolled through the Mountain West tournament. They've won 10 straight since February 15th. What do you like about the Rams?
Well, I like the fact that they're playing a Memphis team that is shorthanded. I mean, if Tyrese Hunter doesn't play in this game, then it is a huge blow to Memphis. And even at that, Colorado State may have the best individual player in this game. Nick Clifford has been as good as anyone over the course of the last 2 weeks. In the last 2 months of the season, he's averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists on 51% from the field, 44% from the three-point line, and 78% from the stripe. Now, in the last week at the tournament alone, he raised those numbers to 25 points, 10 boards, and 4 assists. So he is just playing at an unprecedented level, and Colorado State is really just on his back. And I think against a shorthanded Memphis team, this is a Colorado State squad that's going to have a very good chance to win this game.
Something about the timing of it all, right? You got to catch these teams at the right time. We're going to look at number 2 now, San Diego State. In the first 4 there, I'm getting straight to it. You have them making the Sweet 16, so explain yourself.
Okay, so it's a little bit of confirmation bias because they were number 1 on my Cinderella rankings last week. And then what do? They lose to Boise State in the conference tournament, and all of a sudden we're not even sure they're going to make the field. As it stands, they get to the first 4, and so it's a little bit more of an uphill climb. But we have seen this story play out before where a team gets some momentum in the first 4 and they're able to ride it through the first weekend. I think it's a distinct possibility that this squad does it again. Remember, Brian Dutcher brought his team to a Final Four just 2 years ago in Houston. The blueprint is still the same. They are an elite defensive team. They get after you on that end, and I think they're capable of defending with anyone in the country. They also have a terrific backcourt. Miles Bird is already an NBA prospect in just his sophomore year. Nick Boyd, if that sounds like a familiar name, it is because he is the point guard that led Florida Atlantic to the Final Four that very same year that this San Diego State team was in the Final Four. So he's got an experienced floor general, he's got a proven blueprint, and he's got an opportunity to build some momentum, even though he's got to play his way in through the first 4.
I'm writing notes on all of these when I fill up my bracket, either later tonight or tomorrow, just to make sure.
There's a good notes.
They're good. They're good notes to have. All right, last but not least, your top Cinderella story, VCU. Now, the Rams, they've worn the Cinderella slipper once before, Final Four in 2011. So it has been a bit. Looking at the numbers, this is the best VCU squad since Shaka Smart years. Why are they your number 1?
They're my number 1 because I think they have the best chance of winning 2 games. Now, it comes with a little bit of a warning, and that's that I don't love their first-round matchup. I think BYU is a team that is poised to make a run in and of themselves. But if VCU is able to get past them, and make no mistake, this will be one of the best first-round games of Thursday and Friday, I think they would have a decent shot against Wisconsin, assuming they're to get past Montana. VCU has the number 41 offense in the country right now, but it's a perimeter-oriented squad where they have 4 double-figure scorers who play on the perimeter, and yet they are also a great offensive rebounding team. So that's the type of combination you really don't see very often. Then defensively, they're top 25 in the country, 23rd to be exact, and they lead the country in effective field goal percentage defense. So I do think that opening round game against BYU is going to be a tough one. Right now, outlets like KenPom are forecasting just a 1-point win for BYU. If VCU is able to get through that gauntlet, I think they'll have a chance to call it 2 wins as they see Wisconsin over the weekend.
It's the best time of the year. March Madness, baby. Adam, thank you so much for your Cinderella stories. We're definitely going to keep it in mind filling out that bracket. And you can watch every men's game live March 18th. That's tomorrow, starting tomorrow. Ooh, I can't believe it. Through April 7th. The best time of year in college hoops.
And as Brent Musburger used to say, you are looking live at Tim Doyle applying makeup. It's picks for every game in the first round. It's coming up.